Two breaking updates in the last few hours have stirred things up around the Eagles and got fans buzzing. A familiar name from the Super Bowl run might be making his way back to Philly, bringing back some serious memories. Meanwhile, another report hints at a bold behind-the-scenes move involving a young defensive talent who's been turning heads, the kind of name that could shake up the entire roster. These are fresh developments that could directly impact the season. If you're a true Eagles fan, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Let's get into it. The NFL free agency pool is about to get flooded, and the Eagles are definitely keeping their eyes peeled for quick roster upgrades. One name that's now out there? A familiar face from their Super Bowl run back in 2017, Jalen Mills. Yeah, that Jalen Mills. The Green Goblin himself might be available for a homecoming. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Houston Texans just cut Mills loose. Ironically, Mills was brought in to fill the shoes of another ex-Eagle, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who went down with an injury during training camp. Talk about a Philly reunion tour that didn't quite pan out in Houston. Let's rewind a bit. Mills was a 7th-round pick in the 2016 draft and turned into one of Howie Roseman's sneakiest steals after he reclaimed the GM throne from Chip Kelly. The guy started 49 games in 5 seasons, racked up 283 tackles, swatted down 40 passes, and even snagged 5 picks. Not too shabby for a late-round flyer. Now, the million-dollar question, does Mills still have enough juice left to matter? At 31, he's not exactly in his prime, but he's not washed either. He's not your every-down stud anymore, but as a backup or a rotational guy, he could definitely give the Birds some reliable depth, especially if the injury bug bites again. Right now, the Eagles' safety room is led by Reed Blankenship, but the real mystery is who's going to line up next to him. Sidney Brown? Rookie Andrew Mukuba? Before Mukuba got banged up in camp, he was actually looking like the front-runner, but now it's a toss-up. Brown's got more NFL reps under his belt, but let's be honest, it's not a battle that's lighting Philly fans' hearts on fire. So here's where Mills comes into the picture. Even with age creeping up, he might still offer more consistency than either Brown or a rehabbing Mukuba. He's got the experience, he knows the system, and he's been through the fire before. Would the Eagles actually bring him back? Probably not a strong possibility. But hey, it's a fun thought for fans who still remember him swatting passes in the link, rocking that green hair, and helping hoist that Lombardi. And if that first update wasn't enough, the second one takes things up a notch. A potential trade move involving a big-time name is starting to gain some real traction. If there's one thing we've learned about Howie Roseman, it's that the man never sleeps, especially when the regular season is right around the corner. Just because roster cutdowns are looming doesn't mean Howie's not still wheeling and dealing behind the scenes. And with some holes still needing patching, especially off the edge, don't be surprised if he's got a few moves left up his sleeve. Ed Crack from Sports Illustrated tossed out a couple of spicy trade ideas that could help beef up the pass rush. First, he threw out Dolphins linebacker Jalen Phillips. Intriguing, sure, but the real juicy option? Jacksonville Jaguars edge rusher Trayvon Walker. Now that's the kind of move that would shake things up. Walker, the numerator. 1 overall pick in 2022, has been quietly stacking up some serious production, posting double-digit sack totals in back-to-back seasons, 10.5 and 10. The Jags picked up his 5th-year option, so he's under contract through 2026, and his cap hits are totally manageable at $11.8 million this year and $15.1 million next season. Oh, and did we mention he's a Georgia Bulldog? You know how Philly loves loading up on dogs. Pulling off a trade like this wouldn't be cheap. Cratch suggests the Eagles would have to cough up next year's first-round pick, which, if the Birds do what they're supposed to and make another playoff run, would be closer to round 2 anyway. Jacksonville, meanwhile, doesn't even have a first-rounder next year, after their big splash for Heisman winner Travis Hunter, so there's definitely a door cracked open there. The full trade package could include that first-rounder young corner Kelly Ringo, who's been rough around the edges in camp and preseason, and one of the Eagles' 3 third-rounders. Maybe even throw in a 2027 fourth to sweeten the pot. Why does this make so much sense? Because even though the Eagles added Azeez Ojulari and Josh Uche this offseason, and drafted Antoine Powell-Ryland Jr., only Uche has really shown anything. Powell-Ryland was basically invisible until the final preseason game, and Ojulari's been, well, meh. Vic Fangio hasn't exactly been handing out gold stars to the backup edge rushers either. He's flat out said no one's done enough to earn real playing time besides Uche. Let's be real. Huff, who they shipped to San Fran, was more effective than just about anyone they've brought in. So if they want to replace that kind of impact, Walker's your guy. He's only 24, entering his prime, and already proving he can consistently get to the quarterback. And yeah, it's a high price to pay, but you're not going to find a rookie pass rusher in next year's draft that brings this level of disruption right out the gate. If Roseman wants one last game-changing piece for this defense, pulling the trigger on a Trayvon Walker deal might be the kind of power move that puts the Eagles over the top. Both stories show the Eagles aren't standing still. Whether it's surprising returns or possible blockbuster trades, something big could be on the horizon. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for all the latest Eagles updates.